Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through the world of Hunter x Hunter, a universe woven with rich lore, deep emotions, and unforgettable characters. This beloved story, created by Yoshihiro Togashi, invites us into a world where adventurers known as hunters pursue incredible quests, facing challenges that test their courage, friendships, and very souls. Tonight, we'll drift through the origins of this expansive world, where each arc unveils new mysteries, struggles, and transformations. From the hunter exam to the darkness of the chimera ants, and from the enigmatic phantom troop to the deep unknowns of the dark continent, we will explore it all. As we meander through these stories, let each moment guide you into a peaceful state of rest as the world of Hunter x Hunter wraps around us like a soft, comforting blanket. Now take a deep breath in and slowly release it. Let go of the day's thoughts, allowing your body to soften, your mind to quiet. Feel the weight of the world ease away as you settle into a peaceful calm. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're welcome to subscribe and softly tell me where you're listening from tonight. And now we begin. Let the journey unfold. In the beginning, there was nothing but a faint whisper, a small idea tucked away in the quiet of an artist's mind. Yoshihiro Togashi, the creator of Hunter x Hunter, crafted a world of infinite possibilities, where every path could lead to new adventures, new dilemmas, and untold stories. It all began with a simple yet profound concept. What if the world were full of people who ventured out into the unknown, risking everything to find treasure, answers, or truth? And thus, the idea of the hunter was born. The term hunter holds many meanings, each unfolding as we move through the story. A hunter is someone with the courage to chase their dreams, whether those dreams lead to wealth, knowledge, or personal discovery. In Togashi's world, these adventurers are not mere thrill seekers, but brave souls who endure unimaginable challenges to uncover what the world has hidden from sight. The concept of the hunter exam, the central rite of passage for aspiring hunters, captures this essence perfectly. It's not about the destination, but the journey, the trials that shape who we are as individuals, and the relationships we form along the way. In this vast world, the hunter's path is both difficult and enchanting. The atmosphere shifts from the bustling streets of cities, filled with life and mystery, to the quiet expanses of untamed forests, where the trees whisper secrets to those who dare to listen. This is a world where darkness and light are ever present, where new lands beckon the bravest to explore them, and where friendships form in the most unexpected places. Yet Hunter x Hunter is not just a tale of adventure. It is a story of the heart, a journey of self-discovery, sacrifice, and deep connections. It speaks to the innate desire within all of us to understand our place in the world and to seek out what lies beyond the horizon. As we follow Gonfrecasus, the protagonist, on his own search to find his father, we too are reminded of our own quests, our own hopes, and the paths we choose to follow. Gon, a young boy raised on a small island, does not know the full scope of the world that lies beyond his home, but within him burns the same curiosity that fuels every hunter, a desire to know, to understand, to connect. His journey begins simply enough, with the desire to find his father, who left when Gon was just a baby. Yet as his story unfolds, we learn that Gon's pursuit of his father is more than a quest for reunion. It is a quest for meaning, for purpose and for the realization that his own identity is intertwined with those who came before him and those who stand by his side. As Gon ventures into the unknown, he encounters friends who become like family. Killua, the assassin turned reluctant companion, Leorio, the earnest doctor who seeks to change the world, and Kurapika, whose pain runs deep, yet whose resolve is as unyielding as stone. Together, they become a team, a family bound not by blood, but by the trials they face and the strength they draw from each other. Their bond is built not on the surface, but through shared experiences, through moments of vulnerability, and through the quiet understanding that no matter what happens, they will always have each other. The world they traverse is vast, filled with strange lands, ancient mysteries, and dangerous creatures. And in this world, there are those who choose to live in the shadows, lurking just beyond the reach of the law. These are the individuals who stand in stark contrast to the hunters, the ones who challenge the balance of the world, whose motives are unknown, and whose hearts are shrouded in darkness. Among these figures are the Zoldyck family, a family of assassins whose names are whispered with fear and reverence. The Zoldicks represent another side of the hunter world, a side that reflects the complexity of human nature. They live in a world where morality is often blurred, and the line between right and wrong is easily crossed. Yet even in their darkness, there are moments of light, moments of tenderness, and moments of deep, unspoken understanding. This world, so with all its beauty and danger, is not without its challenges. As Gon and his companions progress through their journeys, they encounter not only physical obstacles, but emotional ones as well. The story of Hunter x Hunter is not just about the pursuit of fame or power. It is about the pursuit of inner truth, the search for peace amidst chaos, and the discovery of what it means to truly live. The origins of this world, so intricately woven together, continue to unfold with every new chapter, with every new arc. But no matter how vast the world becomes, no matter how many characters and events are introduced, one truth remains constant. Hunter x Hunter is a story of growth. It is about the journey that shapes us all and the quiet moments where we find clarity amid the storm. As we continue to drift through this world tonight, let each breath deepen the calm, letting go of any tension or worry as we are drawn deeper into this peaceful exploration. The Hunter exam is the first step into the vast, uncharted world of Hunter x Hunter. It is here, at the beginning of every hunter's journey, that the path to discovery and challenge starts to take shape. As we drift into the quiet rhythms of the Hunter exam, we step into the shoes of Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika, each carrying their own desires, doubts, and dreams, stepping into the unknown. Imagine the early morning light filtering through dense trees, a mist lingering in the air. It is in these moments of stillness that the journey truly begins, with each step taken in anticipation, in uncertainty, and in the raw, unfiltered desire to prove one's worth. The exam, more than just a series of tests, is a trial of character, a deep, introspective challenge that asks more of the heart than the mind. And yet, for those brave enough to step forward, it is a journey worth taking. As the candidates gather in the sprawling wilderness, the tension in the air is palpable. Each person, driven by their own reasons, is here for one singular purpose: to become a hunter. The challenges ahead will be unlike anything they've known, pushing them to the limits of their endurance, their resolve, and their will. But through every test, from the brutal physical challenges to the mental labyrinths, the candidates must remain true to themselves. There is no room for deception here, no room for hiding from who you truly are. For gone, the simple desire to find his father drives him forward. His innocent optimism shines through, even in the most harrowing of moments, as he meets each trial with a quiet determination. He has no hidden agenda, no ulterior motive, just the purest of hearts, hoping that the answers he seeks lie at the end of this long, winding path. But even for Gon, the journey is not without its trials. The world is not as kind as he imagined, and the weight of expectations, his own and others, will soon be felt. Then there is Killua, a boy born into a family of ruthless assassins. Killua's path is one of both escape and discovery. With every test, he grapples with the shadows of his past, the bonds of his family, and the darkness that lingers in his heart. His journey, though marked by the light of friendship, is also one of inner turmoil, of questioning who he truly is beneath the weight of his bloodline. Killua's every action is deliberate, careful, measured. Yet beneath that surface, there is a boy who longs for freedom, who dreams of a world where he can live on his own terms. Leorio, though a man of boisterous energy and bold aspirations, carries a deep, unspoken sadness within him. His desire to become a hunter is driven not by a thirst for adventure, but by a desperate need to help those in need. His dream is to become a doctor, to heal the sick, to make a difference in the world, a world that has shown him cruelty, loss, and regret. In the early days of the exam, Leorio seems like the most unlikely of heroes, yet his heart is strong and his conviction unwavering. Each test brings him closer to his goal, even if the path seems uncertain. Kurapika, the quiet yet resolute boy, enters the exam with the weight of tragedy on his shoulders. His eyes, those beautiful, haunting eyes, hold the grief of his past, a past filled with loss, revenge, and the promise of justice. For Kurapika, the hunter exam is more than a trial. It is the first step in a journey that may lead him to the very thing he seeks most: vengeance against the phantom troop, the group that decimated his clan. His journey is a delicate balance between hope and sorrow, a path fraught with moral dilemmas and emotional conflict. But even in his sorrow, there is strength. Kurapika is a reflection of resilience, a testament to the quiet power of purpose. As they move through the stages of the exam, from the physical endurance tests to the cunning and strategy of the final trial, the bonds between these four young souls begin to solidify. They are no longer just competitors, they are companions, united by a shared dream, a shared vision, and a shared need to understand themselves and the world around them. The wilderness, ever shifting, ever unknown, serves as the perfect backdrop for their trials. The towering trees and rushing rivers seem to echo the internal battles they face. Each obstacle they overcome is a step toward understanding, toward clarity, and toward a deeper connection with the world they inhabit. The sun moves slowly across the sky, its light softening as the day stretches on. There is no rush, no hurry. In the stillness of the jungle, time seems to bend, pulling each of them into a quiet state of reflection and growth. But even as they near the end of the exam, the world remains full of uncertainty. What lies beyond the threshold of the final test? What truths will they uncover about themselves? And in the face of unimaginable challenges, who will they become? These questions hang in the air, unanswered, but with the promise of something greater waiting just beyond the horizon. For now, as the day fades into night, the trials continue, and so too does their journey, one step closer to becoming what they have always dreamed to be. In the quiet of the world, there are few things more powerful than a child's dream, a dream so pure, so untainted by the complexities of life that it can light the path ahead with a brilliant, unwavering glow. Gone Freaks, with his boundless energy and heart full of hope, embodies this dream. His journey begins not in the halls of power or the fields of battle, but in the quiet simplicity of his childhood on a small island far from the bustling cities and endless horizons. And yet, even here, in this remote corner of the world, his dream calls out, distant but clear, a beacon guiding him through the mists of uncertainty. Gon's dream is simple in its essence, to find his father. It is a dream born from the quiet longing of a child who grew up without the warmth of his father's presence, a child raised by his Aunt Mito, who had the heavy burden of trying to fill the gaps left behind. Gon's father, Ging Freaks, was a hunter, a man who pursued the unknown and left his son behind in the pursuit of his own dreams. For Gon, the story of his father was always a mystery, a question that tugged at his heart, a piece of his identity lost to time and distance. As he embarks on his journey to become a hunter, it is not for fame or fortune, but for the chance to understand who he is. Gon believes that in finding his father, he will uncover the truth about himself, that his path is tied to Ging's, that somehow their destinies are intertwined. In this way, Gon's dream is not just a search for another person, but a quest for understanding, for clarity, and for meaning. The boy who sets out with nothing more than a simple wish to find his father soon realizes that his journey will be far more complicated than he ever imagined. But even in the face of difficulty, Gon remains undeterred. His optimism is a light that never falters, no matter the darkness surrounding him. It is this unwavering belief in his dream that carries him through the trials he faces. Each challenge, no matter how great, met with a quiet resolve. Gon's dream is not one that can be easily shattered. It is the kind of dream that sustains him when everything else seems lost, when the world around him is full of chaos and danger. Along the way, Gon's dream grows, becoming less about the singular goal of finding his father and more about the relationships he forms with those around him. His companions, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika, become not just fellow travelers, but anchors in his life, each offering a piece of wisdom, a moment of comfort, a glimpse into the complexities of the world that Gon, in his innocence, had not yet seen. Together, they face trials that test not only their strength, but their hearts. The challenges they face are not only external, they are internal as well, shaping them, molding them, and revealing their true selves. Gon's bond with Killua is perhaps the most poignant of these. Killua, born into a family of assassins, has known a life of darkness and fear. He carries within him a sense of heaviness, a weight that Gon cannot truly understand, but one that Gon feels compelled to help carry. Their friendship is one of quiet support, a partnership built on trust and an unspoken understanding that no matter the obstacles, they will face them together. Gon, in his simple, open-hearted way, offers Killua something he has never known: unconditional friendship, a safe place to exist without the shadow of his past looming over him. As Gon grows, so too does his understanding of the world around him. He begins to see that his father's absence is not a reflection of his own inadequacy, but rather a part of the complex tapestry that is life. King Fricas is a figure both distant and deeply human, a man driven by his own dreams and burdens, and as Gon learns more about his father, he begins to understand the delicate balance between dreams and reality. The path he walks is not one of simple answers, but of questions that require deep introspection, moments of doubt, and ultimately acceptance. Throughout it all, Gon remains a boy driven by a dream, one that, though complicated and fraught with challenges, remains his guiding light. It is a dream that is not just about finding his father, but about understanding who he is, where he comes from, and what his place in the world truly is. It is a journey that takes him to places he never thought possible, through darkness and light, through joy and sorrow. And in each step, he learns more about himself and the world he inhabits. As the sun sets slowly on Gon's journey, casting long shadows across the landscape, we too are reminded of the quiet power of dreams, the simple, quiet wishes that guide us, that pull us forward when all else seems uncertain. In the stillness of the night, let us hold close those dreams, letting them settle into our hearts, soft and steady like the gentle breath of the wind. In the quiet, vast expanse of Hunter x Hunter's world, the Hunter Association stands as a beacon, a guiding force for those who seek to push the boundaries of their own existence. To be a hunter is not merely to seek treasure or power, but to delve into the mysteries of the world, to explore the unknown with courage and integrity. It is a title that carries with it immense weight, for only those who are willing to sacrifice, to test their own limits, and to rise above their fears can truly claim the title of hunter. The world of Hunter x Hunter is one of boundless possibility, stretching far beyond the confines of cities and villages into the very fabric of nature itself. It is a world teeming with life, some of it familiar, much of it strange and uncharted. From the towering mountains that touch the skies to the vast, unexplored jungles where danger and beauty coexist in a delicate balance, the world of the hunters is as mysterious as it is captivating. There is always more to discover, always another horizon to chase, always another layer of the world waiting to be uncovered. At the heart of this world lies the Hunter Association, an organization that recruits the bravest, the most skilled, and the most daring individuals to take on missions that range from the mundane to the extraordinary. Hunters are the explorers, the adventurers, the scholars, and the protectors of society. They are the ones who venture into forbidden lands, uncover ancient secrets, and confront creatures that others fear to even imagine. The title of hunter is both a privilege and a burden, a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility, and that the path of the hunter is one fraught with both wonder and peril. In this world, there are many types of hunters, each specializing in a different field. Some hunters pursue knowledge, traveling the world in search of rare books, ancient artifacts, and forgotten lore. Others focus on protecting the weak, using their skills to safeguard those who cannot defend themselves. There are also those who take on missions that require the utmost skill and discretion, assassins, trackers, and warriors whose abilities are unparalleled. But no matter their specialty, all hunters share a common trait: the unwavering desire to explore, to discover, and to push the boundaries of what is possible. For Gon, the journey to becoming a hunter is not simply about the title, but about the possibilities it opens. It is the key to understanding the world beyond the small island he once called home, the key to finding his father, and the key to learning more about who he is and what his purpose truly is. It is a path that will take him into the depths of mystery, into lands unknown, and through trials that will test his heart, mind, and spirit. But it is also a path that will bring him closer to understanding the deeper truths of the world, truths that lie hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered by those brave enough to seek them. As Gon embarks on his journey, he is joined by his companions, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika, each of whom brings their own unique perspective to the world of hunters. Together, they represent the diverse facets of what it means to be a hunter. Killua, with his cool, calculating nature and hidden depths, represents the pursuit of freedom and self discovery. Leorio, with his fiery determination and sense of justice, represents the desire to protect and heal. Kurapika, with his solemn quest for vengeance, represents the weight of duty and the pursuit of justice. And Gon, with his innocent, unrelenting optimism, represents the unyielding desire to understand the world and his place within it. As they travel together, the bonds between them grow stronger. They are no longer just fellow travelers, they are family. Their journey is not just about finding their place in the world, but about finding each other, about learning the quiet power of trust and companionship, and about discovering what it means to be truly alive in a world that is both beautiful and terrifying. The world of hunters is a world of endless possibilities, where each new horizon holds the promise of discovery, and where every encounter brings with it the chance to learn, to grow, and to become something more. It is a world that calls out to those who seek to understand, to those who wish to see beyond the ordinary, to those who long for adventure and truth. And as we journey with Gon and his companions, we are reminded of the quiet beauty of exploration, the way it opens our hearts and minds, the way it connects us to something greater than ourselves. So as we drift deeper into this world, let the gentle flow of the journey wash over us. Let the world of the hunters become our own, if only for a moment, as we lose ourselves in the wonder of the unknown, the thrill of discovery, and the quiet peace that comes with knowing that sometimes the greatest adventures are the ones we share with those who walk beside us. In the shadows of Hunter x Hunter's vast world, there lies a family whose name is spoken with both fear and awe, the Zoldyck family. A dynasty of assassins, their legacy is steeped in secrecy, power, and an unwavering devotion to their craft. Their home, a towering estate nestled in the mountains, is a fortress of solitude and discipline, where the winds howl through the high peaks and the echoes of the past linger like whispers in the cold, thin air. The Zoldicks are not simply a family, they are an institution, a symbol of what it means to be a master of death. The Zoldicks are a family defined by their strength, their ruthlessness, and their unwavering commitment to their deadly profession. Each member of the family is trained from birth to become the perfect assassin, cold, calculating, and efficient. There is no room for weakness in the Zoldyck bloodline, no tolerance for anything less than perfection. Their skills are unmatched, their abilities unparalleled. They are a family that operates in the shadows, unseen by most, and yet their influence stretches far and wide, their name whispered in the darkest corners of the world. At the heart of the Zoldyck family is its patriarch, Silva Zoldyck, a man whose strength and presence command respect and fear in equal measure. Silva is a figure of cold authority, his every word measured, his every action deliberate. He is a man who has long since embraced the darkness within him, a man who sees the world through the lens of duty, honor, and the pursuit of power. Under his watchful eye, the Zoldyck family has flourished, their legacy solidified through generations of deadly training and unrelenting discipline. Yet beneath this cold exterior lies a complexity that is often overlooked. Silva Zoldyck, though ruthless, is not without his own sense of honor. He is a man who sees the value in strength, but also understands the importance of family, of protecting those who are his own. His bond with his children, though distant, is one of quiet understanding, a relationship shaped by years of unspoken rules and unyielding expectations. Among the Zoldyck children, there is one who stands out, Killua, the youngest son, whose journey is as much about escape as it is about discovery. Killua's story is one of breaking free from the suffocating legacy of his family, of rejecting the dark path laid out for him and choosing instead to forge his own way. Unlike his siblings, Killua is not content to follow in the footsteps of his parents. His heart longs for something more than the cold world of assassins, something beyond the death and bloodshed that have defined his existence. Killua's relationship with his family is fraught with tension, with love and fear entwined in a delicate dance. His parents, particularly his mother, have high expectations for him, expecting him to take his place within the family's legacy. But Killua, with his quick wit, boundless curiosity, and deep longing for freedom, cannot accept a life defined by bloodshed. His escape from the Zoldyck estate, his decision to leave behind the world of assassination, is a turning point, a moment of quiet rebellion against the life he was born into. In many ways, Killua's journey is a journey of self-discovery. He is torn between his love for his family and his desire for something different, something more. His bond with Gon, his companion on this journey, is one of deep significance, an anchor that helps him navigate the complexities of his own heart. Gon, with his innocent optimism and unwavering belief in the goodness of others, offers Killua a glimpse of a life beyond the darkness of his past. Through Gon's eyes, Killua begins to see the world in a different light, a world where friendship, trust, and love can exist without the shadow of death looming over them. But even as Killua begins to step away from the Zoldyck legacy, the weight of his family's expectations continues to haunt him. The Zoldycks are not easily forgotten, and their influence reaches far beyond the walls of their home. Killua's struggle is not just one of escape, it is one of reconciling his past with his future, of finding a way to live with the legacy of the Zoldyck name without allowing it to define him. In this quiet world of assassins, there is a sense of stillness, a deep, unspoken understanding that the Zoldycks are not simply a family of killers, but a family bound by something greater. Their legacy is one of survival, of strength, and of unyielding resolve. Yet within that legacy lies a longing for something more, something softer, something that transcends the cold logic of death. It is this quiet yearning for freedom, for change, that sets Killua apart from his family, and it is this same yearning that will drive him forward through every trial, every challenge, as he seeks not just to escape his past, but to build a future of his own choosing. As we drift through the Zoldyck family's world, let us reflect on the complexities of legacy, on the quiet forces that shape us, that bind us, and that push us to question who we are and who we are meant to be. Let us consider the weight of expectations and the courage it takes to forge a path of our own. In the shadows of the Hunter x Hunter world, there exists a group of individuals whose name is whispered with both fear and fascination: the Phantom Troop, a band of thieves, assassins, and outcasts. They are bound not by blood or kinship, but by the strength of their shared purpose and the darkness that resides in each of their hearts. The troop is a symbol of chaos, of defiance against the systems that govern the world, and a reminder that in the deepest shadows, even the most elusive of groups can carve their own path. The Phantom Troop is a family of sorts, though not in the traditional sense. They are united by a bond forged through tragedy and survival, each member bound by their own personal pain, their own hidden scars. In many ways, they are the perfect antithesis to the Hunter Association, where the hunters seek to explore, to discover, and to protect. The troop seeks only to take, to destroy, and to leave chaos in their wake. But even in their darkness, there is a strange, twisted sense of unity, of understanding that allows them to function as a cohesive unit, each member playing their role in a carefully orchestrated dance of theft and violence. At the heart of the troop is its leader, Crollo Lucilfer, a man whose calm demeanor and unshakable resolve mask the true depth of his ambitions. Crollo is not a man driven by greed, nor by a desire for power. Rather, his motivations are more complex, rooted in a deep philosophical belief that the world is broken, that the systems that govern it are flawed, and that it is only through destruction that true freedom can be achieved. For Crollo, the troop is not just a band of thieves, it is a vehicle for change, a means of toppling the order that constrains them all. Each member of the troop brings their own unique abilities, their own personal motivations, and their own tragic pasts to the group. There is Kuroro, the stoic and calculating member who brings both intellect and force to the table. There is Hisoka, a flamboyant and dangerous figure whose unpredictability makes him both an ally and a threat. There is Machi, with her sharp eyes and even sharper mind, whose loyalty to the troop is unwavering. And there is Shalnark, with his ability to manipulate others, and Phaeton, whose sadistic tendencies make him a force to be reckoned with. But despite their differences, despite the darkness that clings to each of them like a second skin, the troop functions as a whole, a well-oiled machine, working in perfect harmony to achieve their shared goals. The bonds they share are forged in the crucible of violence, and though they may not always show it, there is a strange sense of camaraderie among them, a shared understanding that no one else in the world could ever truly comprehend their way of life. For the troop, their actions are not born of mere greed or malice. They do not take lives for the sake of taking them. They take them because, in their view, it is the only way to challenge the world's oppressive systems. To the troop, the world is a prison, a place where the strong dominate the weak, where power and control are concentrated in the hands of a few. They are the rebels, the outcasts, the ones who refuse to bow to the rules of society. choosing instead to carve their own path, regardless of the consequences. Yet beneath the surface of this chaotic and destructive group, there is also a sense of loss, a deep, unspoken sadness that lingers in each of the troop members. Many of them have suffered terrible losses in their lives, their pasts filled with pain and betrayal. It is this suffering, this longing for something greater, that drives them forward, even as it pulls them further into the darkness. In their own way, each member of the troop is searching for something, whether it be revenge, redemption, or the simple hope that they can find a place where they truly belong. For Kurapika, the Phantom Troop represents more than just a group of criminals. They are the embodiment of his greatest sorrow. His people, the Kurta clan, wiped out by the troop in a senseless act of violence. The troop's members, with their cold, emotionless faces, are the very ones who took everything from him, leaving him with nothing but a thirst for vengeance. Kurapika's quest is not just to defeat them, but to make them understand the depth of the pain they have caused. For him, the troop is both a target and a symbol, a reminder of everything he has lost and everything he is willing to sacrifice to restore justice. The Phantom Troop, though feared and hated by many, are not without their complexities. They are not mere villains, but individuals shaped by their own experiences, their own choices, and their own desires. They are a reflection of the darker side of humanity, of the pain, the loss, and the chaos that often lie just beneath the surface. And in that reflection, there is a quiet, unsettling truth. The troop is not so different from the rest of the world. They, too, are seeking meaning in a world that has often been cruel, a world that has shown them nothing but hardship and sorrow. As we drift through the world of the Phantom Troop, let us reflect on the nature of darkness and light. Let us consider the choices we make, the paths we take, and the bonds we form with those around us. In the quiet stillness of the night, let us remember that, even in the shadows, there is always the possibility of redemption, of change, and of the hope that one day we can find our way out of the darkness. In the farthest reaches of Hunter x Hunter's world, beyond the lands that are known and explored, there lies a place that calls out to the brave, the curious, and the relentless. It is a land of mystery, danger, and unimaginable discovery, the Dark Continent. This is a place where the rules of nature bend and twist, where ancient secrets lie hidden beneath the earth, and where those who venture too far risk losing everything in their pursuit of the unknown. The Dark Continent is more than just a physical space. It is a symbol of the eternal human drive to explore, to push beyond the known, and to seek out what lies beyond the edge of the map. For centuries, the Dark Continent has been a place of myth and legend, a place so dangerous that even the bravest of explorers have turned back in fear. Few have ever returned, and those who do are often forever changed by what they've seen. Yet despite the perils that await, there are always those who are willing to take the risk, to sail into the unknown, driven by the promise of discovery and the possibility of glory. The first expedition to the Dark Continent was a monumental undertaking, a journey that required the strongest, the smartest, and the most determined individuals to come together. Led by the greatest minds of the time, the expedition ventured deep into uncharted waters, seeking to unlock the secrets of this forbidden land. But as the explorers soon discovered, The Dark Continent was not a place that could be conquered. It was a place that defied understanding, where the very landscape itself seemed alive, shifting and changing in ways that defied reason. The dangers were unimaginable, creatures that defied logic, landscapes that shifted with every step, and forces of nature so powerful that they could tear apart entire fleets with ease. Yet, despite these dangers, the Dark Continent called to them, beckoning with its promise of untold riches, ancient knowledge, and the chance to uncover the deepest mysteries of the world. For those who are willing to risk everything, the rewards could be unimaginable. The allure of discovery is a powerful thing, and it is this allure that drives those who are willing to enter the unknown. As the years pass and more expeditions are launched, the Dark Continent remains as elusive and dangerous as ever. Each journey into its depths is filled with both awe and terror as the explorers uncover secrets that are far beyond their comprehension. Some return with tales of unimaginable horrors, of monstrous creatures, unearthly landscapes, and strange phenomena that defy all explanation. Others, however, never return at all, their fates forever unknown, their stories lost to the winds. But despite the peril, the expedition continues. There are those, like the adventurers who brave the dark waters, who believe that the rewards of the Dark Continent outweigh the risks. And so, they sail forward into the vast and unknown, driven by the hope of uncovering something greater than themselves, something that will change the world forever. For the characters of Hunter x Hunter, the Dark Continent represents both the ultimate challenge and the ultimate unknown. It is the place where their journeys could lead, where the answers they seek might lie buried in the sands of time. For Gon and his companions, the idea of the Dark Continent is both terrifying and exhilarating. It is a place that holds the potential for discovery, but also for loss. It is the ultimate test, a place where the very nature of life and death seems to shift, where everything is uncertain and nothing can be taken for granted. Yet, even as the dangers of the Dark Continent loom large, there is something deeply beautiful about its mystery. It is a place where the unknown is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It is a reminder that in every corner of the world there is something worth discovering, something that can change our understanding of the universe. And it is this sense of wonder, of curiosity, that drives the adventurers forward even when the risks seem too great to bear. As we drift through the concept of the Dark Continent, let us reflect on the nature of exploration. It is a journey that takes us into the depths of the unknown, into places where we may not always find what we expect. But it is also a journey that teaches us about ourselves, about our desires, our limits, and our ability to push beyond them. The Dark Continent represents not just the physical space that lies beyond our world, but the inner journey we each undertake, the journey into the unknown, both within and without. And as we continue our journey through the world of Hunter x Hunter, let us carry with us the spirit of exploration, the quiet courage to seek out the things that others might fear. In the darkness of the unknown, there is always the possibility of discovery, and in the silence of the journey, there is always the potential for growth. There are moments in every journey where the horizon shifts, where what once seemed distant and unattainable comes into clearer view. For Gon and his companions, such a moment arises when they set their sights on Greed Island, a mysterious place wrapped in layers of myth and adventure. The island is no ordinary landmass, it is a world unto itself, a game where the boundaries between reality and fantasy blur, and the line between life and death becomes a fragile thread. Greed Island is more than just a place. It is a riddle, a puzzle, a test of both body and mind. It beckons adventurers to step into its boundaries with the promise of great rewards, riches, power, and for Gon, the opportunity to uncover more about his father, King Freakus, who once played the game and left behind clues that may lead him to the answers he seeks. But as with all things in the Hunter x Hunter world, the pursuit of knowledge and understanding is never without its trials. Greed Island is not a place that welcomes the unprepared. It is a land where every decision has consequences, where every step taken can lead to both discovery and danger. The island is, in many ways, a reflection of the larger world Gon and his friends are navigating. It is a place where the rules of society and nature are suspended, where those who enter must adapt or face peril. The island is a game, and yet it is more than that. It is a world filled with its own history, its own struggles, and its own dark secrets. It is a place where adventurers must use not just their strength, but their wits, their courage, and their hearts to survive. As Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika enter Greed Island, they find themselves not only facing the trials of the game, but also confronting their own fears and desires. Each challenge they encounter is a reflection of their inner selves, a test of their growth, their resolve, and their ability to adapt. For Gon, the island is a continuation of his journey to find his father, but it is also an opportunity to deepen his understanding of who he is and what he values. In the midst of the game's dangers, Gon learns that the true rewards of the island are not the riches or the power, but the lessons learned along the way. The bonds forged in the heat of battle, the quiet moments of introspection, and the realization that the path he walks is shaped not by the destination, but by the journey itself. Killua, too, is changed by his time on the island. He is no longer just the boy running from his past, from the shadow of his family and the dark legacy of the Zoldycks. On Greed Island, Killua is forced to confront the parts of himself he has long tried to bury, the fears, the doubts, and the desires for freedom that have always driven him. In his struggles, Killua comes to realize that the strength he seeks is not just in his abilities or his power, but in his ability to open his heart to others, to trust, and to let go of the chains that bind him. Leorio and Kurapika, too, find themselves transformed by the island's trials. Leorio, the passionate, sometimes brash young man, learns the true cost of his dreams, his desire to become a doctor, to heal the sick, to change the world. On Greed Island, he is forced to confront the darker side of his aspirations, the weight of responsibility that comes with the title of healer. Kurapika, driven by the need for justice, is reminded of the cost of vengeance, of the weight that his thirst for revenge places on his soul. The island is not just a game of survival, it is a game of reflection, of growth, and of understanding what truly matters. Through each challenge, through each puzzle, each dangerous encounter, Gon and his friends are slowly but surely shaped into something more, more than just adventurers seeking treasure, more than just friends on a shared journey. They are individuals, each with their own dreams, their own struggles, their own scars. And yet, as they move through the island's trials together, they become a family, bound not by blood, but by the quiet strength of their shared experiences. Greed Island, in its eerie, mysterious beauty, becomes a place of profound lessons. A reminder that the greatest treasures in life are not those that can be held in the hand, but those that are held in the heart. The island, with its strange rules and its dangerous allure, serves as a reflection of the larger world Gon and his friends are navigating, a world where every choice matters, every action has consequences, and every moment is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become something greater than we were before. As Gon continues his journey on Greed Island, we too are reminded of the importance of the path we walk. The island teaches us that sometimes the greatest treasures are found not in the end, but in the journey itself, found in the friendships we forge, the lessons we learn, and the quiet moments of clarity that come when we least expect them. There are moments in every tale when the darkness that quietly lingers beneath the surface of the world rises, shifting the balance and casting long shadows over everything it touches. In Hunter x Hunter, that darkness takes shape in the form of the chimera ants, a species born from the cruelest forces of nature and a threat unlike any the world has ever known. Their arrival marks a turning point, a moment when the boundaries between good and evil, between life and death, become blurred, and the very nature of humanity itself is called into question. The chimera ants are not just a physical threat, they are a challenge to everything the characters of Hunter x Hunter have come to understand about the world. Born from a queen whose sole purpose is to give birth to an army, the chimera ants quickly become a force that consumes everything in their path. With each new generation, they grow stronger, more intelligent, and more dangerous. The once mindless creatures evolve, developing complex thoughts, desires, and emotions, transforming from mere beasts into something far more terrifying. At the heart of the chimera ant arc is Meruem, the king of the chimera ants, a being of immense power and intelligence whose very existence challenges the essence of life itself. Meruem begins as a force of destruction, a cold, calculating ruler bent on conquering the world and asserting his dominance. He is the embodiment of a new order, one that seeks to replace humanity's fragile existence with a new, brutal system, one built on survival and strength. But as Meruem's journey unfolds, we begin to see that his story is not one of pure evil. His path is one of transformation, of internal conflict, and of the search for something beyond power. Meruem's evolution is one of the most poignant and unsettling aspects of the Chimera Ant arc. As he encounters human emotions, friendship, love, guilt, and remorse, he begins to question the very foundation of his existence. The king, once so certain of his superiority, finds himself struggling to understand the complexities of the world around him, and the feelings he begins to experience are not what he expected. His relationship with Komugi, a blind human girl, is at the heart of this transformation, a bond that challenges everything he once believed, and that changes him in ways he could never have foreseen. The story of the Chimera Ants is not just about the conflict between good and evil, but about the complexities of identity, morality, and the very nature of what it means to be human. The ants are a reflection of the darkest aspects of ourselves, our desires, our fears, and our capacity for destruction. But they are also a reflection of our potential for change, for growth, and for redemption. Even in the darkest of places, there is the possibility of light, and the Chimera Ant arc serves as a reminder that nothing in life is ever truly black and white. As the war between the Chimera Ants and humanity unfolds, the characters we have come to know and love are forced to confront their own beliefs, their own limits, and their own sense of right and wrong. Gon, who has always been driven by a simple desire to find his father, finds himself facing a darker and more complex reality. The path he has walked, filled with hope and optimism, now leads him into the depths of violence, grief, and loss. As Gon's journey shifts into one of sorrow and vengeance, we are reminded of the true cost of the quest for justice and of the price we all pay when we choose to confront the darkness within ourselves. The Chimera Ant arc is, in many ways, a meditation on the nature of power and the choices that define us. It asks us to reflect on what it means to wield power and how that power can be both a force for good and a force for destruction. As Meruem's story unfolds, we are reminded that even the most terrifying of forces can change, can evolve, and can seek redemption in the most unlikely of places. In the midst of the chaos and violence, there are moments of profound beauty, moments when the characters confront the deepest parts of themselves, when they face their own humanity, and when they choose to fight not just for survival, but for something greater. The Chimera Ant arc is a journey of transformation, not just for the ants, but for the humans who face them. It is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we have the ability to change, to grow, and to choose a path that leads towards something greater than ourselves. As we reflect on the story of the Chimera Ants, let us consider the complexities of life itself. Let us remember that the darkness we face, both in the world and within ourselves, is not something to fear, but something to understand. In that understanding, there is the possibility of change, of growth, of redemption, and of the quiet hope that no matter how dark the world becomes, there is always the possibility of light. After the initial trials of the Hunter exam, where the aspiring candidates face challenges that test their strength, intellect, and spirit, the second stage of the exam takes them into even deeper territory, both physically and emotionally. This is not just another hurdle to overcome, it is a moment of introspection, growth, and transformation. As Gon and his companions embark on this next phase, they begin to realize that their journey is about more than just becoming hunters. It is about understanding themselves, facing their inner fears, and learning the true meaning of strength. The second stage is set in a vast and unforgiving wilderness, a place where the dangers are both visible and hidden, where every step could lead to something unexpected. The candidates, though united by their goal of becoming hunters, are all vastly different in their motivations and abilities. Some are driven by ambition, others by curiosity, and still others by the desire for personal growth or redemption. Each of them brings something unique to the table, and yet, it is the bonds they form in this harsh environment that will define them. For Gon, this stage represents not just a test of endurance, but a moment of self-realization. He has already shown incredible determination and courage, but now he must face the reality that the world is not as simple as he once believed. The forest they traverse is a place of uncertainty, a reflection of the challenges that lie ahead in his quest to find his father. As he confronts the harshness of the world around him, he begins to understand that the path he walks is not just about finding answers, but about becoming the person he is meant to be. This realization is both a comfort and a burden, as it forces him to confront the growing complexities of his journey. Killua, too, faces a profound internal struggle. Although he has already proven himself to be one of the most skilled candidates, his journey is not just about physical prowess. It is about finding a balance between the darkness of his past and the light of his future. Killua is not just running from his family, he is running from the parts of himself that he fears the most. The second stage of the exam forces him to confront these fears, to accept that true strength lies not in the power to destroy, but in the ability to protect and to trust. As he continues his journey with Gon by his side, he begins to realize that strength is not something that can be taken, but something that must be earned through compassion, understanding, and friendship. Leorio, with his strong sense of justice and his dream of becoming a doctor, faces a different kind of challenge. While he is often the most boisterous and impatient of the group, his journey through the second stage forces him to slow down, to reflect on his own vulnerabilities, and to question whether his actions are driven by a need for recognition or by a deeper, more selfless desire to help others. As the trials grow more difficult, Leorio comes to understand that his true strength lies not in his ability to fight, but in his capacity for empathy and his unwavering commitment to those he cares about. Kurapika, whose quest for vengeance against the Phantom Troop has driven him to pursue the Hunter exam, finds himself at a crossroads. The second stage forces him to confront the reality of his quest for revenge, to face the emotional toll it has taken on him, and to consider whether his single-minded pursuit of justice is truly the path he wants to follow. In this stage, Kurapika learns that true strength is not found in vengeance, but in the ability to forgive, to let go, and to move forward. The trials he faces challenge him, not just physically, but emotionally, as he begins to reconcile his painful past with his hopes for the future. As they continue through the second stage of the exam, the candidates begin to understand that the true challenge is not just about passing the tests before them, but about confronting their own fears, doubts, and insecurities. The wilderness, with its dangers and mysteries, serves as a mirror to their inner struggles, each trial an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become something greater than they were before. Through it all, the bonds between Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika deepen. They are no longer just competitors, but companions, friends who share not just a common goal, but a shared journey. Together, they face the trials that come their way, drawing strength from one another and from the quiet understanding that no matter how difficult the road ahead may be, they will walk it together. The second stage of the Hunter exam is not just about survival, it is about transformation. It is a moment of quiet reflection where the candidates are forced to look inward and confront the parts of themselves they have long avoided. It is a time of growth, as of learning and of change, a reminder that true strength is not found in physical power or skill, but in the courage to face ourselves, to accept our flaws, and to continue moving forward despite the challenges that lie ahead. As the sun sets slowly over the wilderness, casting long shadows across the landscape, we too are reminded of the quiet power of growth. In each moment of doubt, each trial faced, there is the potential for transformation. And in the stillness of the night, we are given the chance to reflect on our own journeys, on the challenges we face, and on the strength that lies within us all. Beneath the bright lights and bustling streets of York New City, where the noise of commerce and conflict blend into a single pulse, there lies a quiet darkness, a shadow that stretches long over the city's vibrant heart. It is in this city that Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika find themselves not just facing the external challenges of the world, but confronting the ghosts of their own pasts. York New is not just a place where money and power collide. It is a place where memories resurface, old wounds are reopened, and the scars of history begin to bleed once more. For Kurapika, York New City is the setting of a painful, unresolved chapter in his life, a chapter he has carried with him ever since the massacre of his clan. The Phantom Troop, the group responsible for the destruction of his people, is known to have come through this very city. The troop's presence here is a reminder of the loss that Kurapika has never fully been able to accept. In York New, Kurapika's grief is not something he can push aside. It is a shadow that follows him, no matter how hard he tries to outrun it. As Kurapika walks through the streets of York New, the memories of his clan haunt him like whispers in the wind. The faces of his people, the sound of their laughter, the warmth of their community. All of it has been taken from him in a single, brutal moment. Now, as he stands in the midst of the city, he is reminded of the fragility of life, of the things that can be lost in an instant. Yet even in the face of this sorrow, Kurapika does not falter. His resolve to seek justice for his people only grows stronger. But even as his heart aches with the weight of vengeance, there is something else, something deeper, that stirs within him. Kurapika begins to realize that even in his quest for justice, there is a cost, a toll that vengeance takes on the soul. For Gon, York New City represents a turning point, a moment when his innocence begins to fade and the world he has been seeking to understand reveals its darker side. Up until this point, Gon's journey has been one of discovery, of learning about the world and about himself. But in York New, Gon is faced with a new reality, one where the boundaries between right and wrong are not so clear, where even the most noble of goals can lead to dangerous consequences. The city forces Gon to confront the complexity of the world, to see that not all battles can be won with a simple smile and an open heart. In this city, the line between hero and villain becomes blurred, and Gon must learn that the path to truth is not always a straight line. Killua, too, is affected by the city's shadow. For all of his skill, his quick wit, and his calm demeanor, Killua carries within him a deep, unspoken sadness, a fear of becoming like his family, like the Zoldycks who raised him in the harshest of environments. As he walks the crowded streets of York New, he is forced to confront his own past, the darkness that lingers in the corners of his mind, and the part of him that he fears most. Killua's journey in York New is one of quiet self-discovery. He begins to understand that the greatest challenge he faces is not the enemies around him, but the darkness within himself, the part of him that he has long tried to hide, the part that threatens to define him. Leorio, the earnest, often brash companion of the group, finds himself in a different kind of struggle. Though he may not have the same personal history with York New City as Kurapika or Killua, Leorio is deeply affected by the events that unfold here. The city's underworld, its hidden dealings, and its ruthless power dynamics are a reminder of the world that Leorio wishes to change, the world where the weak are exploited and the strong rule with impunity. In York New, Leorio is confronted with the realities of the world he wishes to heal, and he begins to understand that the road to change is far more difficult and far more dangerous than he ever imagined. In York New, the characters are not just facing external enemies, they are confronting the shadows of their own hearts, the parts of themselves that they would rather leave hidden. The city becomes a mirror, reflecting their deepest fears, their most painful memories, and their greatest desires. It is a place where the past cannot be outrun, where the weight of history presses down on them, and where every decision has consequences. For the Phantom Troop, York New is both a place of opportunity and a battleground. In the city's underbelly, the troop seeks power, wealth, and influence, driven by their own complex motivations and their unyielding desire to claim what they believe is rightfully theirs. Their presence in York New is a reminder that even in a city defined by its lights and its prosperity, darkness always finds a way to seep through to claim its own. In the end, the York New City arc is not just about the physical battles fought, but the emotional and psychological struggles each character faces. It is a journey into the depths of their own souls, where they must confront the past, accept the pain it carries, and find the strength to move forward. The city, with its lights and shadows, becomes a symbol of the internal battles we all face, a reminder that growth often comes through pain, that understanding often comes through loss, and that in every shadow there is the potential for light. After the tumult of battle and loss, after the darkness of the Chimera ants and the relentless pursuit of vengeance, the Hunter x Hunter world begins to shift once more. The election arc marks a new chapter, a moment of stillness and reflection in the wake of chaos. The dust settles, and in its quiet aftermath, the question arises: what comes next? What happens when the battles are over, when the enemies have fallen, and the world must continue to move forward, uncertain yet full of possibilities? In the wake of the Chimera Ants' defeat, the election arc is a time of both renewal and reckoning. The world, though scarred, is still full of potential, full of new beginnings. The election for the new chairman of the Hunter Association is not merely a political event. It is a moment of transition, of healing, and of reshaping what it means to be a hunter. It is a chance for the world to rebuild itself, to rise from the ashes of its past, and to face the future with renewed hope. For Gon, this arc is a time of quiet reflection. Having been so deeply affected by the events of the Chimera Ant arc, Gon is left to confront the weight of his own choices, his own desires, and the cost of his journey. The election is not just a backdrop for the political struggle at hand, it is a mirror reflecting Gon's own internal battle as he recovers from the physical and emotional toll of his past adventures. It is a reminder that growth is not always linear, that healing is not always immediate, and that even the strongest of hearts need time to recover. The election process itself is a complex web of intrigue, with various factions vying for control, each with their own agendas and motives. The political maneuvering that takes place reflects the intricate balance of power in the world of hunters. Yet even in the midst of this struggle, there is an underlying sense of peace, a recognition that despite the chaos of the world, there is always the possibility of new leadership, of a fresh start. The election is a moment of hope, a symbol that change is possible, even in a world so often defined by violence and ambition. Killua, ever the observer, finds himself quietly processing the events of the past. He has seen the darkness of the world, the cruelty that can lurk in the hearts of even the most powerful, and yet he remains by Gon's side, offering the steady support that his friend needs. Killua's journey has been one of self discovery, of moving beyond the shadow of his family's legacy and forging a path that is uniquely his own. In the election arc, Killua continues to learn the importance of trust and companionship, of standing by those who matter, even when the world is uncertain. Leorio, too, has his own place in this new world. His dream of becoming a doctor has not faded, but rather it has deepened. The events of the past have only strengthened his resolve to make a difference, to heal not just the bodies of the sick, but the wounds of the world. The election is a turning point for Leorio as he steps forward into his own role, no longer just a companion, but a leader in his own right. His passion and his desire to protect the weak and vulnerable remain at the heart of his journey. But he now understands that the road to change is not one that can be walked alone. For Kurapika, the election arc represents a shift in his understanding of justice and revenge. He has been driven by a singular goal to avenge his fallen clan. Yet, as he participates in the election, he is faced with the realization that there is more to life than the pursuit of vengeance. Kurapika begins to understand that justice is not something that can be easily obtained through violence. It is something that must be pursued with patience, wisdom, and the willingness to let go of the past. The election serves as a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to forgive, to move forward, and to choose a path that leads to peace, not more conflict. As the election unfolds, it becomes clear that this moment is not just about choosing a new leader. It is about embracing the future, about understanding that the world is not static, that it is always in motion, always evolving. The election arc is a time of reflection, of letting go of the past and stepping into a new beginning. It is a moment of quiet growth where the characters are reminded of their own inner strength and resilience, and of the power they have to shape their own destinies. The election is a metaphor for the choices we all face in life, the choice to continue, to grow, to heal, and to move forward. It is a reminder that no matter how difficult the journey, there is always the possibility of renewal, of finding a new path, and of creating something better than what came before. As we drift through this quiet moment of transition, let us reflect on the power of beginnings, the soft, steady light of hope that guides us forward even in the darkest of times. The election arc teaches us that no matter what has happened in the past, we always have the power to choose how we move forward, how we shape our future, and how we find peace in a world that is ever changing. In the stillness of the night, when the world is quiet and the heart is left to reflect, the shadow of tragedy looms large over all. For the Phantom Troop, a group of individuals bound by both their shared purpose and their personal tragedies, the weight of their past is something they can never fully escape. They are a band of thieves and killers, yes, but beneath their hardened exteriors, there lies a profound sadness, a collective sorrow born of loss, regret, and the choices they have made along the way. The Phantom Troop, in many ways, represents the darker side of humanity, those who have suffered unimaginable pain and loss, and who, in their suffering, have become both victims and perpetrators. Each member of the troop carries with them the scars of their past, scars that run deep, scars that are not easily healed. For some, the tragedy is a result of betrayal. For others, it is a loss that can never be undone. But for all of them, the past is something that shapes them, that defines them in ways they may never fully understand. At the heart of the troop's tragedy is their leader, Crollo Lucifer. Calm, composed, and unyielding, Crollo is a man who carries the weight of his actions with a quiet resolve. He is not a man of emotion, not one to wear his heart on his sleeve. And yet, in the depths of his soul, there is a sorrow that runs deeper than any outward appearance could reveal. Crollo's tragedy is not just the lives he has taken, but the lives he has left behind, those who have been hurt by the troop's actions, those who have been shaped by the choices he has made. And in the quiet moments, when the world falls away, Crollo is left to reflect on the cost of the path he has chosen. For the other members of the troop, their tragedies are just as profound. Each one has been touched by loss in some way, whether it is the haunting memories of a family lost, a childhood stolen, or a life that has been irrevocably changed by violence. They are not just killers, they are broken souls, each struggling with their own demons. Kuroro, with his cold, calculating exterior, is a reflection of this pain, a man who has learned to bury his emotions, to hide them beneath the mask of leadership. But even he cannot escape the weight of the choices he has made. And then there is Uvogan, the towering figure whose immense strength and boisterous personality mask the deep wounds he carries from his own past. Uvogan is a man who has seen the world's cruelty firsthand, and in his heart there is a longing for something more, a desire to find meaning in a life that has been defined by violence. His journey is one of both strength and vulnerability, a search for redemption that is often hidden behind the walls he has built around himself. Uvogan's tragedy lies in his inability to reconcile the man he wants to be with the actions he has taken. Similarly, there is Machi, whose quiet demeanor hides the pain of her own history. She is a woman of few words, but in her silence there is a story of love lost, of family destroyed, and of the unspoken grief that she carries with her every day. Machi's tragedy is one of isolation, of learning to live with the weight of a past that she cannot change. Yet, in her interactions with the other members of the troop, there is a tenderness, a quiet empathy that speaks volumes about her own inner turmoil. She may not show it, but her heart too is scarred by the choices she has made and the life she has led. The tragedy of the Phantom Troop is not just in their pasts, but in the way they continue to live with the consequences of their actions. They are a group of individuals who have been shaped by pain, who have been forged in the fires of loss and suffering. And yet, despite this, they continue to move forward, continuing to make choices that reflect both the darkness and the light within them. The troop is not defined solely by their violence or their ambition. They are defined by their humanity, by the quiet moments of vulnerability that they struggle to show the world. As we drift through the story of the Phantom Troop, let us reflect on the nature of tragedy itself. It is not always something that can be fixed or erased. It is something that stays with us, that shapes us, and that teaches us to be stronger, even when we feel broken. The troop's journey is one of learning to live with the past, of finding meaning in the midst of pain, and of understanding that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of redemption. The troop's tragedy is a reminder that we are all shaped by our experiences, that the choices we make leave lasting marks on our hearts and souls. But it is also a reminder that even in the face of our darkest moments, we have the power to change, to grow, and to find a way forward. In the quiet reflection of the night, we are reminded that the greatest strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the ability to heal, to forgive, and to move forward with a heart that is, despite everything, still open to the possibility of light. Far beyond the realms of the known world lies a place that stirs the hearts of those with an insatiable curiosity, a place that holds the promise of untold wonders, hidden dangers, and the deepest secrets of existence. It is the dark continent, a land so shrouded in mystery and peril that it has become the ultimate challenge, a forbidden place that only the most daring and ambitious souls dare to venture. Yet it is not just the physical boundaries of the dark continent that captivate the imagination. It is the infinite possibilities that lie within it, the questions that it asks of those who seek to understand its depths. The journey to the dark continent is one of both fear and exhilaration, a journey that pulls at the very core of what it means to explore, to understand, and to conquer the unknown. It is a journey that forces those who embark upon it to confront their deepest fears, their greatest desires, and the limits of their own strength. The dark continent is not a place for the faint of heart. It is a land that tests the very nature of humanity, that pushes the boundaries of life and death, and that forces those who dare to enter it to question everything they have ever known. For Gon and his companions, the dark continent represents the culmination of their journey, the final frontier, the ultimate destination in their quest for knowledge, truth, and self-discovery. Yet as they stand on the precipice of this unknown world, they are reminded that the journey is never truly over. The dark continent is not just a physical place. It is a metaphor for the internal struggles they continue to face, the lessons they have yet to learn, and the growth they have yet to experience. The explorers who seek the dark continent are not merely adventurers in the traditional sense. They are seekers, individuals who are driven by a deep, unrelenting desire to understand the mysteries of the world, to unlock the secrets that lie beyond the veil of the known. It is this thirst for knowledge that pushes them forward, that drives them to face the dangers and hardships that await them. Yet even as they seek to understand the dark continent, they are reminded that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, some questions left unanswered. The journey to the dark continent is not just about discovery. It is about the acceptance that some things may never be understood, some truths may never be revealed. As the expedition ventures further into the unknown, they encounter landscapes unlike anything they have ever seen. Vast, uncharted territories where the laws of nature seem to bend and break, where creatures of unimaginable size and power roam freely, and where the very fabric of reality seems to shift with every step. The dark continent is a world that exists outside the boundaries of human comprehension, a place where the ordinary and the extraordinary coexist, where the known and the unknown intertwine in a delicate dance of mystery and wonder. In this world, time and space become fluid as the explorers are forced to adapt to a constantly changing environment. The journey is not just a physical one, but a mental and emotional one as well. Each step taken on the dark continent is a step into the unknown, a step into a realm where nothing is certain, where nothing can be taken for granted. Those explorers are forced to question everything they thought they knew, to confront their own limitations, and to accept that they are but small, fragile beings in the face of a universe that is vast beyond measure. The Dark Continent calls to those who seek to understand the deepest mysteries of existence, but it also challenges them to confront the darkness within themselves. It is a place where the line between good and evil, life and death, is blurred, where the pursuit of knowledge can lead to both enlightenment and destruction. The explorers must learn to navigate the complexities of this strange world, to find a balance between curiosity and caution, between the desire for discovery and the need for survival. As Gon and his companions face the trials of the Dark Continent, they are reminded of the quiet strength that lies within them. The journey is not just about conquering the unknown, it is about understanding themselves, about finding peace in the face of uncertainty, and about learning to accept the mysteries of the world without the need to fully understand them. The Dark Continent is not a place that can be controlled or mastered. It is a place that must be respected, a place that challenges the very nature of existence itself. In the quiet stillness of the night, as the world outside remains untouched by human hands, we are reminded that the true journey lies not in the destination, but in the path we take to get there. The Dark Continent represents the unknown spaces in our own hearts and minds, the places where we face our deepest fears, our greatest desires, and our most profound questions. And as we drift through this world of mystery and wonder, we are reminded that sometimes the greatest discoveries are not the ones we seek, but the ones that seek us in return. In the heart of the Hunter x Hunter universe, where the forces of light and shadow intertwine, there are few stories as deeply complex and emotionally charged as the journey of Netero and Meruem. Their tale is one of growth, of understanding, and of the quiet power that lies within the deepest moments of conflict. It is a story not just of battle, but of transformation, of two beings from opposite ends of the spectrum. One, a man who has spent his life in the pursuit of strength. The other, a king born of darkness, who come to find common ground in the most unexpected of places. Netero, the venerable leader of the Hunter Association, has long been a symbol of strength and wisdom. His presence commands respect, and his skills are unmatched. Yet beneath his formidable exterior lies a man who has dedicated his life to mastering not only his body, but his spirit. Netero is a reflection of the paradox of power, the recognition that true strength does not come from the ability to dominate, but from the capacity to understand, to endure, and to let go. Netero's journey, though filled with great triumphs, is not without its moments of deep, quiet introspection. As the conflict with the chimera ants escalates, Netero is forced to confront the true cost of his life's work. He is a man who has always believed that strength is the ultimate answer, that power is what separates the victors from the vanquished. But as he faces Meruem, the king of the chimera ants, he begins to understand that the greatest battles are not won with brute force, but with wisdom, with compassion, and with the willingness to embrace the unknown. Meruem, the young and ruthless king of the chimera ants, is the embodiment of raw power, his strength unmatched, his intelligence extraordinary. When he first emerges from his cocoon, he is a creature driven by instinct, by hunger, by the need to conquer. He views the world in terms of survival, in terms of domination. But as he encounters humanity, and in particular Komugi, the blind girl with whom he forms an unexpected bond, Meruem begins to evolve. He begins to question the very nature of his existence, his place in the world, and the purpose of his power. His journey is one of transformation, a shift from a being defined by his desires to one who begins to understand the complexities of emotion, of life, and of connection. The relationship between Netero and Meruem is one of quiet tension, a delicate dance between the old and the new, the established and the emerging. Netero, who has spent his life seeking to perfect his skills and his understanding of the world, faces off against Meruem, who represents a new force, a new form of existence. Their battle is not just a clash of strength, but a clash of ideals, of what it means to be truly alive and what it means to wield power. In their final confrontation, Netero and Meruem are not simply adversaries. They are two sides of the same coin, two beings who, though vastly different, share a common struggle, the search for meaning. For Netero, the battle represents the culmination of his life's work, the final test of his strength and his beliefs. For Meruem, it is a moment of profound self-discovery, a moment that forces him to confront the very nature of his existence and to question whether power alone can provide the answers he seeks. The ending of their journey is not one of victory or defeat, but one of quiet understanding, a realization that sometimes the greatest battles are not fought with weapons or fists, but with the heart. Netero's sacrifice is a testament to the wisdom he has gained over a lifetime, and Meruem's final moments are a reflection of the transformation he has undergone, a transformation from a being of destruction to one of introspection and, in his own way, redemption. Their story, in its quiet sorrow, is a reminder that strength is not simply about the ability to overcome others, but about the ability to overcome oneself. It is a story of growth, of change, and of the quiet power that lies within the most unexpected places. In the end, Netero and Meruem both learn that the true measure of strength is not in domination, but in understanding, in the willingness to confront the deepest questions of existence and to embrace the unknown. As we reflect on the journey of Netero and Meruem, we are reminded that life is not always about winning or losing, but about the quiet moments of growth that shape us along the way. In their story, we find the truth that true strength lies not in power, but in the heart, in the soul, and in the quiet courage to change, to understand, and to evolve. As the final moments of the Chimera Ant arc unfold, the world of Hunter x Hunter is irrevocably changed. The battle against the Chimera Ants has been one of immense emotional weight, where strength and sorrow intertwine, and the true cost of survival is made painfully clear. The story of Meruem and Netero, of Gon's sacrifice, and of the choices made in the heat of conflict is one of profound transformation, a journey that forces each character to confront their deepest fears and desires and to grapple with the price of their choices. The end of the Chimera Ant arc is not just the conclusion of a series of battles, but the conclusion of a deeper journey, one that asks what it truly means to be human. Meruem, the king of the Chimera ants, once driven by a desire for power and domination, undergoes a profound transformation. His encounter with Kamugi, the blind girl whose pure love for the game of gungi has no place for power, begins to unravel the very fabric of his understanding of the world. As Meruem is drawn into a relationship with Kamugi, his heart begins to open, and he starts to question the very nature of his existence. His story is one of redemption, of learning that true strength lies not in the ability to conquer, but in the capacity for empathy, for understanding, and for change. For Gon, the end of the Chimera Ant arc represents the culmination of his journey, a journey that has taken him from an innocent boy with a simple dream of finding his father to a young man who has been tested by the harsh realities of the world. Gon's sacrifice, his willingness to give up everything for the chance to defeat Meruem, reveals the depths of his heart, the lengths he is willing to go to in order to protect those he loves. Yet even in his moment of darkness, Gon is not beyond redemption. His recovery, his return from the brink of despair, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, to the quiet strength that lies within all of us, even when we are at our lowest. Leorio, Kurapika, and Killua, too, are forever changed by the events of the Chimera Ant arc. Leorio, the passionate and often brash companion, is reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. He has always been driven by a desire to protect others, but now he understands the true cost of that protection, the sacrifices that must be made in order to keep those we care about safe. Kurapika, whose quest for vengeance has driven him for so long, is reminded that justice is not about revenge, but about understanding, about letting go of the past in order to move forward into the future. And Killua, whose struggle for freedom has been a defining part of his journey, learns that true strength lies not in running away from the darkness, but in facing it, in embracing the parts of ourselves that we fear most. The Chimera Ant arc is a meditation on the nature of power, of strength, and of the choices we make. It asks us to consider what we are willing to sacrifice in order to achieve our goals, and what the true cost of victory is. As Gon, Killua, and their companions face the aftermath of the conflict, they are reminded that the journey does not end with the defeat of an enemy, but with a quiet reflection on the lessons learned along the way. It is a story not just of survival, but of transformation, a journey that shapes the characters, not only through the challenges they face, but through the understanding that sometimes the greatest victories come not through strength, but through the willingness to change, to grow, and to heal. The end of the Chimera Ant arc is not a final chapter, but a pause, a moment of stillness in which the characters can reflect on the journey they have undertaken. It is a reminder that no matter how dark the world may seem, there is always the possibility of light, always the possibility of change, of growth, and of redemption. And in that quiet reflection, we find the truth that the greatest strength lies not in what we can destroy, but in what we can build, in the connections we forge with others, and in the ability to face the darkest parts of ourselves and emerge stronger for it. As we approach the closing moments of this gentle journey through the world of Hunter x Hunter, we are reminded that every story is not merely about the characters we follow, but about the legacy they leave behind, the impact they have on the world, and the way their journey ripples through time. The world of Hunter x Hunter is vast and complex, filled with characters who have transformed in ways both grand and quiet, each one leaving behind a mark that echoes long after their story has ended. For Gon and his companions, the journey is far from over. While the battles they've fought and the challenges they've faced have shaped them, the future remains a landscape of infinite possibility. Gon's quest to find his father has been a central theme throughout his journey, but in the end, it is not just about the search for a person. It is about the search for understanding of self, of others, and of the world around him. In the wake of his struggles, Gon comes to realize that the true journey is one of growth, of finding peace within himself and with those around him. His story, though far from complete, is one of hope, a reminder that the path we walk is not always clear, but that every step taken brings us closer to understanding. For Killua, the journey is one of liberation. The shadows of his past, the weight of his family's legacy, have long defined him, but through his friendship with Gon and his own inner growth, Killua begins to embrace the freedom he has always longed for. The boy who once sought to escape now begins to find his place in the world, not as a product of his past, but as someone who chooses his own path. Killua's legacy will not be defined by the darkness of his bloodline, but by the light he brings to the lives of those he loves. His journey is one of healing, of learning to trust, and of becoming the person he was always meant to be. Leorio, whose dreams have always been grounded in the desire to heal, finds himself not just as a companion, but as a leader. Someone who will one day change the world in ways that go beyond the battles he has fought. His path is one of selflessness, of putting the needs of others before his own, and of finding his place in a world that is often cruel and unforgiving. Leorio's legacy is one of compassion, of unyielding hope, and of the quiet strength that comes from standing firm in the face of adversity. Kurapika, whose quest for vengeance has shaped much of his journey, begins to understand that the true power lies not in revenge, but in forgiveness, in letting go of the past in order to embrace the future. The weight of his clan's tragedy is something he will carry with him always, but as he continues on his path, Kurapika learns that justice is not something that can be achieved through violence. It is something that must be pursued with patience, wisdom, and the quiet understanding that some things are beyond our control. His legacy will be one of balance, of the understanding that vengeance may heal a wound, but compassion and understanding will mend a soul. And as for the world itself, the legacy of the Hunter Association, of the Chimera Ants, and of the countless individuals who have crossed the paths of Gon and his friends, is one of complexity, a world where the line between right and wrong is never clear, where the boundaries between light and darkness blur, and where every choice, no matter how small, leaves an indelible mark. Hunter x Hunter is not a story of simple victories, but of the quiet, often unseen moments that shape who we are. It is a world where every journey, no matter how difficult, holds the possibility for change, for redemption, for growth, and for understanding. The legacy of Hunter x Hunter is not just about the adventures we witness, but about the lessons we learn along the way, the reminder that every step forward, no matter how small, is part of a greater journey. It is a story that teaches us that no matter how dark the path may seem, there is always the possibility of light. It is a world that challenges us to grow, to question, and to seek the truth, even when that truth is elusive. As we drift through this final moment, let us reflect on the legacy that each of us will leave behind. Like the characters in Hunter x Hunter, we are all on our own journeys, facing our own challenges and struggles. But in every step we take, we have the power to shape our own legacy, to choose how we face the world and how we leave it. Let us embrace the quiet strength that lies within us and let us move forward with the understanding that every journey, no matter how difficult, holds the possibility for a new beginning. Thank you for journeying through the world of Hunter x Hunter with me tonight. May your dreams be filled with peace, with light, and with the quiet hope that no matter where the path leads, you have the strength to walk it. Thank you for drifting through this world of adventure, of growth, and of transformation. As we reach the end of this journey, may you carry with you the lessons of Hunter x Hunter, the quiet power of understanding, the beauty of connection, and the strength that lies within even the darkest moments. May your dreams be filled with peace, and may you find rest in the knowledge that each step you take on your own journey brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. Good night,